We've all seen it in the news. Someone defends themselves or their loved ones only to find themselves fighting a legal battle that can cost everything. Mortgage payments, retirement savings, even their kids' college funds, gone, just to prove they did nothing wrong. That's why Firearms Legal Protection, the official sponsor of Every Citizen Armed, exists. For as little as 33 cents a day, FLP gives you unlimited legal defense for criminal and civil cases. No caps, no hidden fees, no surprise bills. If you have to defend yourself, FLP will handle the legal battle so you can focus on what matters: your family, your future, your freedom. We insure our homes, cars, and health. Why wouldn't we protect ourselves legally when it matters most? Go to firearmslegal.com, choose your plan, and use promo code ECA at checkout for exclusive pricing. No setup fee and a locked-in lifetime rate. Protect yourself today, and Firearms Legal Protection will have your back when it matters most.
Every Citizen Armed ensures that every American patriot is prepped with knowledge, perspective, and firepower.
He counted on America to be passive. He counted wrong.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
All right. Welcome to the next episode of Every Citizen Armed. Today we're joined by Ryan Miller, and he's had some pretty interesting background. I really got a kick out of talking with him the other day to learn a little bit about it. So we're going to get into it, and why don't we'll just let you introduce yourself a little bit first.
Okay. My name is Ryan Miller. I was born and grew up in Taft. Graduated 1989. Shortly after, I went to 2 years of college. Thought I was going to be a pilot because I was post Top Gun days. Realized that my eyesight and my academics weren't as good as my peers, so someone introduced me to a little-known thing called a Navy SEAL. So I did a 2-week training with them. Came back and dropped out of college and enlisted in 91. So,
you don't want to be the next Tom Cruise? Come on, be Maverick?
Well, I did.
Yeah.
But then I realized that when all my friends at UCLA were like in super hard classes and I was struggling at Cal State Northridge, I'm like, nah, I can't do this.
Gotcha.
But you know what? I can swim real fast. So I dropped out, went to boot camp in 91, classed up shortly after. I was in class 182 and went through SEAL training, and that was the start of it.
And how long were you in the Navy?
13 years. I was in from 91 to 04.
Okay, very good. Now, so you right there in the heart of it, things were getting ready to get started, right, when you were...
At the end. So I did basically 10, 11 years of nothing. So after everything the SEALs been through, and the global war on terror, everything, that's what all the SEALs were doing. There was whole generations of SEALs who did 20 years, became a Master Chief, and did absolutely nothing in the 80s. And I was on the very end of that part. Like, my 2 deployments I did was SEAL Team 1. We went to Guam. So we sat in Guam for 6 months at a time, and we're like, all right, are we going to do anything? No, we're going to sit around with we actually had beepers. Yeah, we were the contingency. We all took turns at the contingency platoons for the Pacific.
And everybody out there's going, what the hell's a beeper?
What's a beeper? Yeah.
Pager, beeper, absolutely. Yeah. That was that's for us older folks.
Yeah. Yeah, we actually had those. Like just like the movie Navy SEALs came out right before I enlisted, so I was like, hey, that looks pretty fun. I could do those crazy things. So
I've listened to other podcasts, and they say that was the best recruiting video for the Navy SEAls is that movie.
Yeah.
You know, that's like the Top Gun for pilots, and now it's
it was like while we were in, we all made jokes about that and thought that's gonna be the coolest thing. We're gonna do all that, and no, we did nothing of that.
Didn't do any of that. No,
I mean, we did the things like all the skydiving stuff. Like we did like the many things that they were doing. Like we trained for all that stuff. Like I did high altitude jumps, and I was a jump master. That was like kind of my sub specialty. Was being a jump master. So after my 2 years, 2 deployments, I ended up going to the unit after I was married. So I took me and my new wife and my new baby to Guam for 2 years. We were deployed. I was actually stationed there, and I was the air operations. I worked the air operations department, so I did parachutes, and I would schedule all the jumps for the platoons coming in. So we did a lot of skydiving.
Had you ever thought about joining the military when you were younger?
Yeah, I wanted to be a pilot since I was young, and then I don't know, somehow I got since I swam a lot. I swam a lot in high school and growing up, and so people like oh, there's a whole special forces that's all they do is swim in the water. I'm like, that sounds fun.
Well, and if for anybody knows where Taft is, that's not near a body of water necessarily.
No, but we have a lot of pools. So.
Yeah. I mean, that is oil country. There's not a lot of swimming going on around there unless it's pools. So, but it had to be kind of interesting growing up out there in Taft.
Yeah, back in the 70s and 80s, there was still a lot of oil, and so the town was very booming back then. And like our high school, it was one of the nicer high schools in the county. And we had like one of the bigger pools too, so that actually helped because we were like the few pools that actually we would host a lot of events. And growing up, you never realized that, but that's all that money from the oil made sure the school was equipped properly.
Well, they have a little other claim to fame out there with the movie. What was it called?
The Best of Times.
Best of Times.
With Kurt Russell. Yeah, I actually missed
Kurt Russell,
that.
Robin Williams. Yeah. Oh, you missed? Yeah.
Well, me and the family moved away for a while, and then when we came back, that was just finished.
Oh, okay.
My freshman year.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty neat the way they highlighted it out there.
Yeah, and that was like a lot of the areas that they filmed at are like, oh, I know what that is.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and like I said, and Taft is just a little west of Bakersfield for most folks that don't know. It's a smaller community, but it's ran by oil, and we have a lot of oil in this county, so it'd be nice to get back to that.
Yeah, if it gets back to where it was, that town is just going to explode with money and population again. So
yeah,
it's really decreased in the last few years. That's kind of sad.
Yeah, the state makes it hard.
They don't make it easy. So.
No. So then you went and you joined there. You're there for about 13 years. What were some of your highlights? Personal highlights. What did you enjoy most about that? When
I was a SEAL?
Yeah.
So early in the part, before getting married, that was the best time. It's just because I was young and we traveled. Like we did trips to Thailand, to the Philippines, to Hawaii. We were in Hawaii a few times, and just doing SEAL stuff. Like we were doing sub ops in Hawaii, so that was real nice to be able to go diving without having a wetsuit on and freezing yourself to death. Yeah, when you're first in for first 5 years, it's real exciting because you're with a group of guys, you're training hard, you're doing fun stuff. We go to Puerto Rico all the time too. Like one of the lasting pictures I have is my platoon with a big water explosion behind us. Because we would do we had blocks of training to do, and part of it's underwater demolition.
Okay.
So we would make big demolition charges, and we'd swim out at night and we'd float them down, and we had different things we would do, and just everything was kind of new. But by the third time around, you're like, all right, I get to go do water ops again and freeze my butt off and do a 12-hour transit on the boat. Like, yay, my back really hurts now.
Going into it, did you look at it? Did you have any preconceived ideas before you went into SEAL training? And that they were changed once you got into it?
So my SEAL team was one of the first ones in the West Coast, and there a lot of Vietnam stuff. So all the lessons that we did coming out of it, we were still training to go fight in the jungles of Vietnam. So after a while, you're like, when you get kind of older, you're like, why are we walking 10 miles? Can we just drive to the target? I have this new thing called a GPS. Can we use that? No, we can't use that. Like, why aren't we using night vision? Why aren't we? And so it was all the old timers like, well, in Vietnam, we just had a watch and a map. And you're like, cool. We have things called trucks now. We can drive these things. So some of that got frustrating. At some point, I got to go back to San Diego with the family, and I was an instructor. So that was probably the most rewarding part, So for the first couple years, we were training the new classes. It was a new thing. Both coasts consolidated their after the basic side. They would come to us for the intermediate level of training. Each coast used to have its own. It was called SEAL tactical training back then, and the guys would have to go through that before they can get established in their platoons as the new guys. So what Special Warfare did is they consolidated onto the schoolhouse that's under BUDS. Like Naval Special Warfare Center controls all the training for both coasts and all the SEAL teams. And so they were consolidating at the time. So I was one of the first instructors that actually came to consolidate it. So I learned a very lot about building curriculum. There's a certain thing you have to do to become a Navy instructor, and a lot of things you have to do to become a SEAL instructor. And so I couldn't really teach on my own for about a year. Okay. So it's that strict of what you're putting out. So I helped build a lot of the curriculum. My sub area was land navigation, and then later on, all the MAROPS things. So boat transits, boat navigation, a lot of dives. I ran a lot of the dives that the students would have to work up to.
And in that, I think we were talking a little bit before, and I think you said you had 90 guys start your class.
In my BUDS class, I had 90. So we classed up in January of 92. I had just turned 21. My other big thought from that area was I got to see Nirvana and Red Hot Chili Peppers on my birthday. Yeah, down in Del Mar.
Oh.
Yeah, that was good. Then a week later, I'm freezing my butt off in the ocean again.
What's the average, with graduation rate when you come out of that? I think you said
they say it's
of your original.
20%. So
is it 20? Okay, so
that's what the average is. So my class was 90. The class before that was like only 70.
Okay.
But the class after us was like 150. It was weird. At the time, they were still trying to push people through, but they couldn't get them. But so my class started at 80. By the end, we got cut in half. And so just by the first day, like the first evolution, we had like 3 people quit. Like, wow, we just started, man. Where are you going? And my original class, we graduated 18 originals. So my after Hell Week and everything, we were down to 50, 60. And then second phase is the dive phase. So we got some people rolled in from the last class who maybe got hurt or failed a test. After pool comp, which is like the part of close open circuit scuba where we basically crawl on the bottom and the instructors would come down and give you a series of problems to solve while holding your breath. Yeah. I think one of those moments where I'm going to die here. They're going to drown me and they're not going to care.
Right.
But so I passed out on you get 4 tries. I passed out my 3rd one.
Okay.
Yeah, that was challenging. But we lost about 20 people in that one.
When you came back as an instructor, did you have you're going to have a different perspective. Mm-hmm. Did you understand why they were doing what they were doing at that point?
Oh, it became an instructor. As a student, you thought instructors are crazy. They're just going to kill us. They don't care. But then on the instructor side of it there's so much safety built into the evolutions. In fact, depending on what the evolution is, it has instructor to student ratios. It has, you have to have an ambulance on standby. You have an ambulance sitting in the area you're doing the operation in, depending on how dangerous it is. And so I really, learned there's a lot to this. There's a chart for it's an air temp, water temp chart of how long the students can be in the water during Hell Week. So if the water is 50 and the air is 50, they can be in for 15 minutes. Okay. Then you have to pull them out. Just because we would get pulled out and 5 minutes later we're back in the water again. Okay, we checked them. Now they're back.
Once you got your temp up or whatever you're doing.
Not really, but yeah. So yeah, we graduated in July '92, and we had I think there were 30 of us, but 18 of us were the originals.
Okay.
From the original class.
But it kind of shows how hard it is going in and come. Maybe not hard. It's hard to get into, but it's really hard to come out of.
I was one of my sons was getting ready to go in the military, and I was telling him I had people in my boot camp class. We're going to go to say there's 200 of us. 100 of us want to be SEALs. I think maybe 50 of us end up getting there just because they couldn't pass the test or they changed their mind or they whatever. And then of those 50, I think maybe 10 of us finally made it just from my boot camp people. And I there's like 4 people from my boot camp class in the SEALs with me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is your boy going to follow?
No, he's going to go be a Marine.
Okay.
He's actually, we talked about it, but he's kind of like, I'm not sure. Like, oh, then don't do it. You got to.
If you're not sure,
really,
you're not
yeah.
not going to pass.
Yeah, I think since I was so young, I was 20, 21, and like, I called it being too dumb to quit.
Yeah.
Because I was a middle of the road SEAL. Like, I was just average or above average. Like I swim really good, but I couldn't run very well. And I was okay on the obstacle course. And, I would be just at the end of the runs. Like they call it the goon squad. So I was in the goon squad quite a bit.
No, were you?
They would have a cutoff like in here. And there's like 10 of us at the very end. You're like, oh no. So they take you over the berm and you run up and down the berm. You're doing somersaults and now you're doing races with each other. Okay, well, if you win, you get to get out. And like, yeah, there's like some studs in this world. Yeah. There's guys that they treated buds like it's a competition, and didn't look like they were struggling, but they were just like super competitive still with each other. But they were like, some guys are older. They're like super old, like 25.
Super old.
Yeah. Like one of my good friends, his name is Toast. I met him in boot camp, and he had the weirdest body shape. Like he had this like little belly and no butt, and his big nose, and he's like really old. He was 24 in boot camp with us. I'm like, who's the weird old fat guy? Like me and the other young guys in there, and they just like smoked us in the water. Like, why is he so fast? Like, couldn't find out he was a water polo player and surfer from down like Del Mar. He grew up down in San Diego. And we're like, oh. So I followed him. Like, me and him were together. Like, we went to Buds together. He was a class ahead of me, and then we went to SEAL Team 1 together. And, like, he was, like, one of the 2 SEALs to come to my wedding. Like, so he was just, like, this crazy. Like, even the instructors were like, what are you doing, fat guy? Come on. Like, during the O course, he said, one guy instructor was like, what are you doing, fat guy? You're too fat to be here. And he was just, like, this freak athlete. And he was just, like, going through the obstacle course, and instructors like following him, and he's found how fast he was going, and he was passing guys. He's like, "Hey, you're letting the fat guy beat you. Go hit the surf."
Well, for a different motivation.
Yeah, and it was, but he was, my buddy Toast was just a freak. He was like a freak of nature. Like, we joked that his belly was an extra lung. That's why he could hold his breath so long. Well, he almost killed me on a dive one time. He would do these crazy things like, we're in Guam, so like, hey, we're gonna take a Zodiac out to the mouth of the harbor. And we're gonna go lobbying, get some lobbies. You go with me? Yeah. So yeah, Toast, I'll go with you. Well, at the end of the harbor in Guam is the Marianas Trench. It's the beginning of it. The Marianas Trench is like 5 miles.
See, that's extremely deep, right?
I was like, so we're going at it. The sun's just going down. We have like 2 sets of tanks. He's like, or 3, and we have an extra one. Okay, we're just going to tie chem lights to this one and drop it over the side. So if we get low, we'll just grab that one and keep on going. I'm like, okay, cool. And so Toast is chasing lobsters, and I'm kind of above him. All of a sudden, like, my air starts running out. I'm like, oh no. So I flip the little switch, and it's not working right for my emergency part. So I start coming back up, and I run out of air about halfway, and we're about 60 feet. I'm like, okay, like, all the dive training, like, okay, you got to stay calm. I'm like, okay, I'm running out of air. And so I start exhaling. I get all the way top, and I'm like, great. Toast almost killed me. So he comes back up, like, I can't find him now. So I'm just sitting at the surface, like, waiting, hope it's dark. All of a sudden, he comes splashing up, like, 100 yards away from the boat. He's like, I got 2. I'm like, you son of a bitch, you almost killed me. I'm like, so glad you got our lobbies, Toast. Good job.
Yeah, there you go. Well, now with that, you're coming up. Don't you have to take a break on the way up, or is that not?
No, I was already exhaling coming up. We weren't deep enough to decompress.
Okay.
We were within our dive tables, but
yeah,
I was just, you have to exhale on the way up, and I was exhaling. I had no more air left.
That scared the hell out of you.
Yeah, but I went through dive training, and pool comp, so I know what to do.
Right, there you go.
I stayed calm. And,
All that time them beating you up in the pool paid off.
yeah, I did.
So you went through that, and then 13 years, obviously, going back as an instructor had to help a ton. You seemed to enjoy that.
Yeah, and so that kind of made me want to be, like, I enjoyed the time with the students. I love teaching those guys. And at the time, when 9/11 happened, I was actually out with the class in our desert facility. And we did a big op the night before, and so we came out, and it was like, with a big, our big eating area had a big screen TV. So I come bebopping out, and something's on the TV, and I go, it's the tower. The first tower room already got hit. And I'm like, what is this? They're like, oh, some airline crashed into it. Like, oh, no kidding. So I had the big chunk of the class out there. We're all watching this, and then the second one hit, and we were like, oh, that's an attack.
Yeah.
And so we locked down our area like immediately. We all called back to San Diego, like, what's going on? They're like, just locked down right now. They actually told us, like, we don't know what's going on. Get all your get all your weapons and stuff on standby. And so we're like, oh, we have a bunch of new students here.
It's interesting. Even to this day, I mean, here we are. You think about that was 2001, 24 years later, talking about it. Just since you get chills. I didn't think of the day we lived in Lancaster at the time, and I came downstairs. I think it was about 6:30, and when the first plane hit, and I'm like, that just doesn't seem right, And we're watching it, and I called my wife down. I said, hey, something's going on, and then when the second plane hit, like you said, everybody knew, and it was like, what do you do? It changed everything.
Oh yeah, especially for us, like our attitude now. But even the students knew, like they knew we were going to war. So the training they started really taking it serious, and even the instructors were like, we all called back like, hey, get us back to our commands. We don't want to go back. They're like, nope, you guys are stuck there. Like, are you kidding me? I've been a SEAL for 11 years, nothing happens, and now a class that just left is going to be sent over. So you get guys who've been in the teams less than 6 months, and they're going to go get combat. You're like, this is bullshit.
So when did it change from training like for Vietnam to training for desert warfare, basically?
Yeah, immediately.
But it was
even for us,
post
like
9/11. I mean, it wasn't prior to that.
That within months, we started change. Like the first groups went over, and then I think when the first groups went over for within months of hearing what they were doing, we started changing what our curriculum was doing. So we kind of tailored back some of the diving stuff.
Okay.
And so friends, looking back later on, friends of mine who are warrant officers now before they retired, they're like, yeah, after war, they realized that since we're fighting desert stuff and vehicle mounted things and urban combat, that, they didn't do a lot of diving in MAROPS. So a lot of the dives that guys went 20 years without doing big dives. We had a standardized dive that we would do. We would do dive training for over a month. All we do is, almost 2 dives a day.
Oh, wow.
In the SEAL teams for our workup training.
Yeah.
And so there's a standard one we would do. We'd take our 2 boats, we would stack them on top of each other, we'd put parachutes on them. We would fly out at C-130, about 30 miles off. We would drop the boats with all our gear in it, and we would jump out afterwards. And so we would de-rig the boats and then come into San Diego Harbor, and then get to almost where the Coronado Bridge is, get our dive gear on, and then go underwater and then attack 2 piers down 32nd Street. And then we would turtle back out and do the opposite for the coming out. And that was a standard dive for us. That was a 2,000-yard turtleback, which is a surface swim, then a 4,000-yard dive underwater. And that was a standard thing we could do all the time. You said that the SEALs at the time, after post global war and terror stuff, was they can't do that anymore. They had to rebuild up to those.
Oh.
Yeah, because they just lost those skills.
You mean you would have to gear up before you did that? So you didn't gear up like you did in the SEAL movie? The SEAL team movie?
No, in fact, we were jumping
out?
rounds. Yeah.
In that one, it looked like they jump out of the airplane with all of their gear on.
They did, yeah.
It was like, that, I don't think that's going to work for you.
No. We looked at it, like, after being the teams, like, that's dumb. Why would they do that?
Because
it looks cool. Like, how far are you swimming from shore?
Yeah. That's. I think there was a scene where they're jumping out with their night vision goggles on already and everything. And
they actually,
you know,
I think they can actually do that.
It had some other stuff over their head. It was like, that's going to fall off when you.
The stuff they have on, they can actually, like, the evolutionary jump of technology. After I got out, I would hear things they're doing. I'm like, oh, that's super cool. I wish I had that back then.
Yeah.
Because we were able to, like, they just started throwing money at special warfare. So we would able to, like, okay, we need these new GPSs. Okay, well, you know, the Navy's got to buy them. It's going to take 5 years. And they eventually they're like, hey, we need watches and holsters and GPS. Like, all right, just find a source. So REI, I'd call REI and go, hey, I need 20 pairs of boots. They're like, okay, come on up. And we'd have the credit card, and the guys would pick out boots, and we're like, there you go.
Nice.
And yeah, that was like the heyday. Like, I'd call Safari Land. I go, hey, I need 24 holsters for SIGs with, you know, a certain type with lights on it. They're okay. They'll be there in a week. Sweet. There you go. So
very different from your beginnings.
In the beginning, I had some webbing H gear that was like straight out of like basic issue Vietnam stuff. I'm just like, since I was a parachute rigger, I would modify my webbing. Mm-hmm. And so my buddy's like, hey man, can you make me this thing? I'm like, yeah, man. So the sewing skills I learned from being a Navy parachute rigger really paid off. I used to make a bunch of stuff. Get like 6 packs of beer for it.
Well, and now it seems like there is definitely an emphasis on supporting special operations, and
that came after the initial. Like there's a companies sprung up to be able to supply these teams and stuff with, like, if the normal supply chain couldn't get it, they were called prime vendors. They would be able to. It was like going to a warehouse and they had sleeping bags, they had GPSs, they had boots, like our style of boots that we would wear. Like everything that we would have issued, they had them all. Oh, okay. Like they say, hey, we need wetsuits, and they would go, okay, well, here's 15 O'Neill 3mm wetsuits. Perfect.
I'll take them.
Yeah, I'll take them all. Let's go.
But so in that, I mean, that's got to be quite the camaraderie, I would think, with your group of guys going through there. That has to be pretty good feeling going through that with those. And you're 18 that graduated. You guys stay together at all, or do they split them up into?
Yeah, so I think half of us went East Coast, half went West Coast. And so a big chunk of us did go to SEAL Team 1. And at the time, it was like the next class, maybe a bunch of them go to SEAL Team 3. A bunch of them. So each team, depending on where they were in their cycles, if they needed bodies.
I'm curious about your wish list, because coming out, don't you get a wish list? Or you have to. Where would you like to go?
Yeah, basically, they try to keep you on what coast you are, what coast you put into. So I put in 1, 3, and 5.
Okay.
And I got to go to 1. And some guys, the East Coast guys, put in for 2, 4, and 8. And but at the time, bunch of SEAL Team 8 needed a bunch of bodies. So a lot of my friends from there went to SEAL Team 8. Oh, okay. It just depends on where the teams are in their cycle. But they try to keep us on the coast that we wanted. Okay. So that was, since I did like the 2-week training I did at SEAL Team 1. So I knew a couple active SEALs there, so I wanted to go back there. Okay. So, West Coast, that was nice. Yeah, so
pretty good weather.
Yeah, man, you can't beat Coronado.
No, actually.
We'd actually had a volleyball court behind our team, and we would play at lunchtime. That was the best days.
You were a Maverick then. See, there you go.
that was the best early days of the SEALs. Like every day, like first thing we'd have muster in the morning, and then we would have 2 hours of mandatory PT, as a team. So like certain days, like it's PT run, so we would do a grinder PT, and I mean the CO's there, every platoon's there, the Master Chief's there, like all the hierarchy. It's not like, oh yeah, are you non-rates? Go down there and do PT. Like the whole team was there, and then we'd run down to the rocks at Coronado and run back, and next day like, okay, it's a long swim. Okay, we're gonna run down the rocks and we're gonna swim back, and then one of those days we'd have like a special thing. Like some days we'd go out to like Balboa Park and we would run. Like it's like a 6 mile loop. We'd run through Balboa Park, or we'd do like go do the Orc course. And so that part was nice. I missed that part of the team's like, hey, 2 hours, just gonna go train every day, And that part was, looking back on it, I missed that part. You know?
So then you did 13 years, and then you come out. So what year was that? That's
04.
04 year out.
Yeah. So I had two littles by then. And at the time, I was just like, it's just not worth it, with the family. Mm-hmm. The sacrifice my wife was making for me to go do these things, it was rough in the house, and I was missing the kids growing up. So, and at the time, the war just started, and a lot of talk was like, now this thing's gonna be over in a year. We're all gonna be back to going to Guam again. So I'm like, you know what? I'm punching out. I'm gonna go back to school. We're moving home. I didn't know this was going to last 20 years.
Yeah, I don't think anybody thought it was going to be a 20-year war. That was maybe Dick Cheney. He planned that, I think.
Yes.
He did pretty well.
Yeah.
Well, in that, and you brought up your spouse, your wife. I think that's really impressive. Quite honestly, you've been in the Navy, in the SEALs, law enforcement. Your job now, which we'll get into in a little bit, you travel a lot. And you're away from home a lot. She's got to be a pretty amazing woman.
She's absolutely amazing. Like I can't. The things I put her through to do what I was doing, looking back on it, is like, she should not stay with me. And sometimes I'm like, I don't know what she sees in me still, but I'm in the phase of my life now where whatever she wants to do, I'm just like, you got it, babe. I think we should do that. You got it. Yeah. I don't even argue. I'm just like, absolutely. Because it was a rocky phase for a while, especially when I got out. And then, like you said, I was a police officer for 8 years here. And that's not easy. I was home, but if I'm working nights, I'm not really home. So I sleep in the same bed. I would see her if I'm on midnights, So that took a toll on us too, but.
That's a couple of really hard professions for marriages. So that's what year did you get married?
96.
Okay. So yeah.
And I was just got done with my second deployment, so I was about 5 years in the military. Okay. So we met when I was already a SEAL.
Yeah.
So I want to say that she knew what she was getting when she joined. She married me, but like no one really knows how hard that's going to be when. Yeah. Like, okay, hey, I'm home, but now I'm gone. And the thing that even now today is reintegrating into the household's like rhythm. Mm-hmm. Like I didn't realize at the time, like, I'd get back off a trip and I didn't know how to like, hey, the kids, like, well, the house is still going while you're gone.
It doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop just because you're gone. Like the kids need to go to school and they, things need to be picked up. And well, trash needs to go out. And they're like, oh, you know what? This thing needs to be fixed. And you come back off a trip and you're just done like, okay, I just shot some guns. I blew some stuff up and I jumped out of airplanes and it's pretty fun. And like, I'm really tired. I'm going to sit down on the couch for a bit. And it's like, hey, lawn needs to be mowed. The things need to be done around here. And you're like, huh? Even today, I was like, I have a hard time. She is so, like, she's the boss. And when I come home, I have to defer to her, like, what are we doing? And she's like, just do it. I'm like, I don't know what we're doing. Like, so for me, I have to really step it. Like, I go from, like my new career, I'm on the ship and, people are, I don't have to worry about what I'm eating because they're feeding me. And, they're cleaning my room and they do my laundry. And I come home and I'm like, so what are we having? I've been having poached eggs and bacon every day for breakfast. Are we having that today? She's like, no, whatever the hell you're fixing yourself, dummy. Exactly.
It's got to be a little bit of an adjustment.
Yeah, and so I've had to snap myself out of it. Like, she'll give me a week. Like, hey, week's up. Get back into it, dummy. Let's go. The house needs to be, We only have one kid now, but he's taking care of himself mainly. But like, hey, dogs need to be walked. Things got to be outside. You got to do some stuff. Like, hey, food's got to be bought. Like, snap to it, buddy.
I saw one of those memes the other day that said something about how I never thought that real marriage would just mean for the rest of my life I got to figure out what's for dinner every night.
Yeah.
And that's part of adulthood. And you're like, damn, I guess so.
Yeah. And I've been out of the routine of cooking so much. I'm like, it's like, you need to cook more. I go, okay. How about hamburgers tonight?
Yeah, when Dad's
tonight
cooking.
is spaghetti. So I've been trying to Google things. Like, I got reels going on. Like, oh, that looks good. Chicken and mushrooms. I think I'll make that.
I had to learn how to steam broccoli because I don't eat that nasty stuff, but my wife does. So yeah, Google helped a ton.
Yeah.
So then you come out and you jump right into a pretty tough profession, but it seems like there's a big transition, military into law enforcement.
Yeah, I got out. I was going to school up here at Cal State, and a mutual friend of mine who was still in the teams had friends at BPD. And so he came home on a trip one time, and I was just doing some stupid summer job between classes. And then the guy's like, hey, you should, we're hiring soon. You should try it. I go, well, what do you do? Like, at the time, like, everyone's like, you'd be a good cop. You'd be a good cop. I'm like, eh. And then he started telling me, like, yeah, I work midnights and I'm doing car chases and chasing guys and doing some stuff and went on shootings. I'm like, well, that sounds fun, man. Like, so I applied, and I got pretty far. I think I was the number 2 hire at the time.
Oh.
Yeah. Number 1 was, he's still in. He's a 6'5" black guy he was a captain in the Army, and we met, and like his hands are like the size of catcher mitts.
Oh shit!
And I'm like, oh hey, what's up? Yeah. So yeah, he was an RTO for a while.
That would be.
He's just like this. Huge,
now an RTO.
Oh, it's like the academy's like drill sergeant kind of thing.
Yeah,
recruit
so the
training
training
officer. Yeah.
And to think of somebody like that being the training officer would probably scare the hell out of a few recruits.
Yeah, he was very intimidating but at the time that going through the academy, our academies are no joke here, man. Like, I was 37 at the time, and yeah, we had people quit the first day. I'm like, we just started, guys. Like, it takes like 6-8 months to get hired, and like people are quitting the first day. I go, how can you quit? I guess give it a week.
Yeah, that's
how, like, some people are not used to that level of, especially being from the military, being an instructor and getting yelled at. I'm like, yes. I get it. Okay, all right, you're breaking us down. Okay, cool, whatever. Mm-hmm. But that was that was the worst thing I've been through in a long time. I was
when my son went through the academy, I watched him, and it was interesting because I think the sheriff and the BPD did a joint academy, and they just beat the hell out.
That was our first joint academy.
Well, it was awesome watching it from the outside looking in.
I'm sure. Yeah, it's great until you're in it.
Yeah, exactly. Have at it, son. And I think he was in the best shape of his life. And I think the statement that he told me was that was much harder than going through boot camp when he joined the military.
Well, for me, it was like, my wife thought it was like, she's like, well, at first I got picked up for the academy. She's like, well, I think the worst part for you is not being home all week. She thought it was an academy where I'm gone.
Oh.
And maybe get to come home on weekends. I go, no, I'm home every night. She's like, oh, that should be easy for you. I'm like, yeah, no problem. I come home every night. No, the worst part was like we had those tracksuits in the beginning, and we just rolled around in every bit of mud they can find. And those things had to be spotless next day. So my wife is just scrubbing and these stupid memos, man. I'm like, I was up so late. That was the worst part. You get a memo for whatever you did. Like, you got these 5 memos. You got to write these things. They got to be absolutely perfect. And I'm like, this sucks, dude. Like, you can beat me all day long. I go, I will survive that. I go, I've been through the worst. I go, my body can handle it. It sucks, but I can make it through that. But, even in buds, like, at the end of the day, you get to go back to your barracks. And like, if training's over, okay, you're done till tomorrow. Like, oh, sweet, it's good to pizza. And,
Yeah. There you're writing memos.
Here I'm like up to like 3 a.m, like writing these stupid memos. I'm like, I didn't have a spot on my tarp, a spot on my tie bar.
Did it help you?
You're a liar.
Did it help you write reports later because you had to be so detailed?
Like looking back on it, they actually, for our class, they turned the heat up a lot. Come to find out, because I have friends who are in the academy, run the academies now, and they're like, oh, it's nothing. Like, in fact, your academy is famously known for how bad it is.
Oh wow!
But we were strong. Like, we were not the very smartest one, but we were all strong. We were like probably the strongest academy in there. But looking back on it, like, you have to have academies like that because of what you deal with on the streets. You have to be. I learned it's called stress inoculation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So most of being a SEAL, going through SEAL training is stress inoculation, like pool comp. Pool comp just jumped my stress level threshold way up. Jumping out of airplanes at night. You can't be like, oh, okay, I can do this thing. Having someone shoot over your head, like, okay, that's kind of frightening at first, but you get through it. But in this, because I've seen, like I used to like, oh, Navy SEAL, I can do this cop stuff. Like, oh, wow, we're fighting people. Oh, this is a lot. But I was like, okay, I think I adjusted to it pretty well, but still, you're still living that stress all the time. That's what took the toll on me. And after about 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's every day. The whole shift, you're call to call to call.
Oh, we call them like these, like, you get those adrenaline bursts. Like, we would get like adrenaline surges. You're like, probably get 10, 12 a night. Not just not the calls you go on, but like you listen to the radio, all of a sudden you hear, code 33 in tones. You're like, oh, that's close. And your adrenaline spikes up. You start driving to it like, oh, code 4, all good. And you're like, oh, Jesus. Okay, you got to come down from that.
And what's a code 33?
Code 33 is like if an officer is dealing with, like, say, a traffic stop or a pursuit, they it's called clearing the channel. So the person doing that is the only one talking. Oh. Okay. So if they're chasing after someone, you don't want to get on the radio and like, yeah, so I'm going to be code 4 over here. I'm going to be doing some stuff, like just doing random like admin things on the radio. You don't want to tie up the channel of you not doing. You want to get the priority. Who's doing the dangerous stuff to have the radio. And so, but you hear that on the radio, and you're like, in your brain, you're like, okay, well, it's this part of town, like I can make it there, and in probably a couple of minutes if I drive real fast. And like, okay, well, your adrenaline spikes up because you're getting ready to like, okay, I have to get there, I have to get in a fight, and okay, there's a gun involved. Okay, here we go. Oh, all good. These are handcuffs. Like, oh. Then you get to start coming down from that. You're like, all right, now I'm gonna roll to this like shoplifter in custody now after you just had a big spike in your adrenaline and deal with some guy who's stole socks from Sears or whatever it is.
I was that guy calling you all the time for those shoplifters, so I was appreciated when you guys showed up. We used to own a grocery store, and
I was the mall's car for a long time, for a whole a couple of shifts. I'm like, Macy's, they would always get people. JCPenney's, I'm like, why are you guys so good at this?
I know. It's probably nothing exciting for you guys. We loved it because you guys would haul them away back then. Now they just let them all go.
Well, if you go from days, like working nights and then working days, it's like a very different mindset. So I went from working nights for about 2.5 years straight on the east side of our town. That's where typically is more dangerous areas because of more gang activity. And then go to daytime on the west side where it's, not as dangerous. So I remember pulling a car over one time and I'm like, so where are you heading? They're like, work. I'm like, oh, okay, get your taillight fixed, I guess.
Very different than
because I was going for I was looking for stolen vehicles and and guys with warrants, and I was looking for gangsters and people doing bad things, and now I'm on the nice part of town where everyone's just going. People are waving at me like, hi. I'm like, oh, hello. I go to Starbucks and get a coffee, and they're like, excuse me. I go, yeah. Like, can I talk to you? Like, sure. Like, thank you very much for what you do. I'm like, okay, thank you. Or I go from like, the one part of town, we're like, screw you, man. Like, okay, thank you. To like, thank you, sir. I'm like, oh, what's going on here?
And I would hope that more of the population would understand some of the mentality that you guys went through out there.
It depends.
It's You had to have some times when you showed up though, and you're like, "Why the hell am I here?"
Yeah, like a lot of like, especially daytime, I get a lot of kids that not going to school.
Yeah.
Like, what's your problem? I don't go to school. You're gonna get your mom's car and go to school right now. You're 8. You know, I'm like, I was chasing GTAs last night, and I got to deal with you. I'm like, oh my god. Yeah. So going from the SEAL teams, like I jumped into that part because that was the thing to do. Like you jump into danger, and you're like, I can handle this. Like, oh yeah. So I think I overestimated what being a SEAL was to this job.
Yeah.
I thought like people are like, well, didn't they hire you automatically? Like, yeah, I would think so. I just didn't walk in like, so why should you be here? I go, Navy SEAL, dude, and just drop the mic and walk out. You know,
They didn't. They weren't that impressed.
they weren't that impressed, I guess. And so now then it plus being like a grown man in this job, at first was like, you know, people think you're pretty arrogant. I go, why? Because you were saying hi to people. I go, I was saying good morning to someone in the office. And now I'm arrogant. I go, I'm not some little kid, dude. And I'm like, I've had a whole career before this. I was a senior person in a SEAL team.
37, you said?
I was 37, yeah. I go, I'm not 25.
But why would that be arrogant to say hello? That's crazy.
I think people had a preconceived notion of what a SEAL was, and so they were thinking me showing up was not their preconceived notion.
Yeah.
They're like, wow, you're kind of old and fat for a SEAL. I go, yeah, I'm 37. I've been out for 3 years. I don't train that hard anymore, dude. I still made it for your academy, didn't I?
He was, when we had our grocery store, my Wonder Bread driver, he went to be LAPD. And he was a bread guy for 17 years. And then he went to be LAPD, and he's like, man, it's a different world. Like, yeah, delivering bread. But he loved it. He was 37 when he went in.
Yeah.
So it was.
I would have been the oldest guy in my class, except for a deputy was 41.
Well.
So I was in the top 10% of my class. I just I was in college courses already, so I knew how to write and do all that stuff. And I knew how to research, and I knew how to study, and I knew how to shoot. So
there you go. You're right there.
I was the top shooter of the class, and
I
was pretty proud about that one because I had, to this day, I was still 2 deputies I know. I was like, remember I beat you in the shooting competition?
we had Ronnie Jeffries on a while back.
Oh yeah,
quite the shooter. Evidently, he was the same thing. He was in the military. He was one of the top shooters in his class, and then the top shooters at BPD when he went through the academy. And fun conversation.
Yeah, I think Ronnie was. I was an FTO for a little bit, and so I think Ronnie's FTO was gone, so he jumped in the car with me. And he was pretty far into his training at the time, so yeah, he was. I knew Ronnie a little bit before I got out, and yeah, he was a pretty square away guy. So he was fun to roll around with. I could tell him automatically, like he knew how to talk to people. He wasn't like, I go, oh, go talk to that bum. I didn't have to do that. He was already like, he would be able. He had the comfortable enough to talk to people.
Yeah.
So that's the thing I learned about this job a lot is like I could talk to absolutely everybody in the situations, which helps me now in my new job.
Imagine this. You defend yourself or a loved one, and instead of being seen as the good guy, you're arrested, charged, and forced to fight for your freedom. You know you did nothing wrong, but now you're looking at thousands in legal fees. We've seen it happen. Good people losing everything just to prove they acted lawfully. That's why you need firearms legal protection. For just 33 cents a day, FLP gives you unlimited legal defense for criminal and civil cases. No caps, no hidden fees, no payback, just real protection with experienced self-defense attorneys who have your back. Plus, you'll get 24/7 attorney access, red flag protection, and more. Go to firearmslegal.com, pick your plan, and use promo code ECA for exclusive pricing, no setup fee, and a lifetime rate lock. Because when the worst day of your life happens, you shouldn't face it alone.
With the cruise lines, and so...
Yeah, let's get into that a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, you kind of transferred... we'll back up just... You 8 years in law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
Why'd you get out so early?
I was about 45, 46 at the time. I was working days, and I was chasing some guy. I can't remember what this deal was. But yeah, we were chasing some guy, and I tackled him, and Lying on my back, and it's called didn't find it out until I actually got med retired. But it's called a rib subluxation, when your rib detaches from your spine. It's kind of painful.
Yeah, it doesn't sound pleasant at all.
No, so I walked around that for like 8 months before they didn't even figure out what it was exactly until I did my final medical. And they did an MRI, and they're like, and the doctor explained it to me. I had to Google it. And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Because I felt like I broke a rib.
8 months?
Yeah.
Carrying that with a belt.
I couldn't sit right.
Having that belt. How much does that belt weigh?
Yeah, like, I think I weighed myself all geared up was like extra 40 pounds.
Yeah.
Between your vest and your belt, and you got things in your pockets, and you got things, wrapped around your boots, and you got all your stuff. And like I already had arthritis in my hips from being a SEAL.
Yeah.
I had that diagnosed to me at 34. The doctor there was like, yeah, and you have he's listing off all my aggravated injuries. And he's like, and you have arthritis in both hips. I go, I'm 34. He's like, yeah, all you guys have it. From carrying all the stuff you have to do.
Yeah.
Like, wow, parachuting must be fun. Yeah, not when you're carrying a 60-pound parachute. That's not too fun.
Like it at all. So.
Yeah.
So you're medically retired out of BPD then?
Yeah, and so at the time, that's not a fast process. So I was on light duty. I knew the writing on the wall. Eventually, I was going to be going, so I started applying things on LinkedIn, and I applied for a job. And nice thing about LinkedIn is like Amazon. Like, if you like this, look at this. And Princess Cruises was advertising for a port security inspector.
Okay.
And so at the time, I was just applying for everything. I'm like, and Princess's offices are down in Santa Clarita. Like, actually, it's on Magic Mountain Parkway. So I'm like, oh, that's only like 80 miles. I can do that drive if I had to. So I applied for it. And a few weeks later, I get a call from a LA number. I'm like, what the heck is this? I was actually driving to work. And it was like, hey, Ryan, this is Wes from Princess Cruises. I go, hey. I'm like, why are you calling? And he's like, you interested in that security job? I go, yes, let me pull over. And so, I interviewed with them, and I got hired just before Christmas of that year. And my very first trip out was to Indonesia, Jakarta, Indonesia, in January. So I was out the door. They're throwing me a phone and a laptop and said, you're going to meet the other inspector. He's in Canada. He's going to meet you there, and he'll show you the ropes for 2 weeks. So, my first trip out, I was in, I did Indonesia, because the group I worked for was Princess, Holland America, and Seabourn. Okay. And so and between those three cruise lines, there's 300 ports they go to in the world. And not all of them are really nice.
No, they're not.
No. So I would get sent to, like, they would go to some crazy, crazy places. So a lot of places that are on the terrorist watch list. So I would go to places that are high on terrorism threats, crime threats. And so very first trip out, I was going to Jakarta. I spent like several days in Jakarta and a couple other ports in Indonesia. Then we went down to Lima, Peru. And my buddy's like, hey, turn the TV on. And so it's not just the ports. Like, we would go to the ports and we'd meet their infrastructure. I had like a 20-page report. I had to check off, ask these different questions. Like, oh, you have fences and cameras and dogs, and oh, look at that. That's really cool. And so we'd also do tour excursions. So usually we found like the ships are pretty secure from attack, but the tours, that's the vulnerability. Except in Tunisia, about a year or two before I joined the company, it was a busload of tourists in Tunisia got gunned down in a terrorist incident. So that's when they're really like, oh, we need to send out people to make sure it's safe. And so we were going to these places like, oh, and they go to this temple, and we go to this mall and shopping area. And I go, oh, Starbucks, can I jump in there real quick? Okay, yeah, go ahead. So I go into Starbucks. I get some Starbucks from Jakarta. I'm like, yeah, how cool I am. Then we fly down to Lima, Peru. My buddy's like, hey, turn the TV on. That Starbucks had hand grenades thrown at it the night before. I'm like, here I am traveling around the world by myself, unarmed, what did I get myself into?
That was going to be my question. Did they send you out armed at all?
No.
So realistically, what protection are you at that point?
I was I'm not there to fight anything. I'm there to report on things. Like, this is how safe this area is. This is the area we need to, to avoid. In fact, I asked my boss one time, I go, so say I get kidnapped. Is the company, like, what's my going rate that the company will pay, like, oh, probably $1 million or $2 million. Oh, that's pretty good. I go, is someone coming to get me? Like, yeah, we'll reach out to, SAS or Dev Group or people, and hopefully they'll come get you. I go, okay. I feel a little better about that.
Hopefully.
Yeah. But I didn't stay at any weird place. I always stay at Marriott's. Like, my Marriott points were like through the roof at some point. I would always stay at Western hotels if I could.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't go walking around by myself too much. So, but my partner, another guy they hired after me, he was ex-Coast Guard, and he's quite a bit younger than me, but he used to go out like he showed me pictures like, yeah, there's a riot going outside my hotel right now. He showed me a selfie with a riot going outside his hotel. I go, what are you doing, dummy? Like, that's fun, man. I go, oh my God, what's wrong with you?
Be young and stupid, right?
Yeah. He's a little more adventurous than I was. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's so that's kind of a nice transition too. I mean, you're going from you've done some pretty cool jobs. When you think about it.
I think about it. People remind me of that because I forget sometimes. Like,
well, it's just a job to you, right?
It's just like some people are like, hey, you were SEAL. I go, yeah, that was like 3 careers ago, man. Like, I've done other things since. But yeah, it's just someone did remind me of that. Like, you done some pretty cool things. I go, yeah, I guess so.
When you look back on it, I mean, that's
so doing stuff like this, like, get to really dig into, like, oh yeah, I did do some kind of cool things.
But here again, you jumped into a career where you're gone for a while, and
good circle back. Good job.
I think
your
wife is pretty amazing again.
Yeah. So with Princess and Home America, I wouldn't travel that. I traveled, but wasn't like super crazy, like, because the cruise line works in seasons. So, like, come October, November, the ships move from like the northern hemispheres to the southern ones. So we would preload. Like, we had a whole list of ports we had to go to. Like, okay, some ports have to be done every 2 years because it's danger. Some ports every 1 year. Like, so I've been all the Mexico ports. I've been a lot of South America. I've been a bunch in the Caribbean. And then I did a bunch in, like, Europe and the Med. And, like, every year I had to go back to Indonesia. So, like, after a while I figured, like, but I wouldn't be gone for, like, maybe 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
So I plan my own travel. I would go. I go to the bosses. I go, hey, I plan on in October to hit these 5 ports. I'll be home for a couple of weeks. I'll go hit these next 5 ports in November. And then by December, we're taking a break. And by January, I'll be hitting Asia. Then February, a couple more. Then spin down, get ready for, like, March would probably have off. Then April, we start spinning up for the Med and Europe again. And
so were you flying in before they got there? Is that what you were doing? You weren't going on the boat then?
No, I would sail occasionally. Like, I was also a trainer for them.
Okay.
And so, like, one time, like, hey, we need you to join the ship out of LA and sail to Hawaii, which is 5 days. And I go, I need you to do breathalyzer training for medical and for security. I go, it's 5 days. I go, then fly home? He's like, yeah. I go, okay. That training should only take like maybe 8 hours.
Oh.
And so I got on the ship and like I did the first group and the medical had some kind of problem with a guest. They had to monitor him. So I didn't get them done until the 4th night I was on board. So in the meantime, like, people were like, man, right, it must be kind of boring on the ship with you. And to be by yourself. And I go, yeah. I go, you ever watch Passengers with Chris Pratt? He's like, yeah. I go, you know, he's walking around with just a shirt and no underwear and just walking around all crying by himself. I go, yeah, that's me. Because, like, I'm not going to go, like, what am I going to do? Go watch The Magician again? And I just try not to eat myself to death. Like, I try to take the stairs a lot. Yes. Like, okay, today for lunch, I'm just going to do a salad. Like, okay, here's my salad. I go, roast beef. I go, chicken wings. Like, oh, those cookies look good. You know, like, next thing I know, I'm like, oh, what's wrong with me? Oh, my God. I can't really drink a lot. Like, I had my 2 drinks. So I had to go to the one bar and sitting by myself. Like a weirdo. So, and watching, like, the movies on hit the gym as much as I could.
Does your wife get to travel with you at all?
She has the capability, but until recently, my youngest is now graduated high school. But at the time, my new cruise line, I'm 10 weeks on, 10 weeks off. Where I'm actually sailing on board now, so I'm a security officer on board. Where before I was just in the office.
Okay.
And so in between trips, I'd have to drive down to Santa Clarita, which is 80 miles exactly from my doorstep to my parking spot. And at one point, I was sitting in my office, in my cubicle, like, okay, I have nothing to do right now. And I'd ask for work, like, no, we're good. I'm like, so I'd sit in my office. I'd like really want to just kill myself. Like, so traveling was okay, but it's just like, I hated airports. I hated I got to sit in this airport for 4 hours to take a 3-hour flight. And I'm like, great, it's my 4th flight I have to get to. And people are like, wow, must you go? You can see these cool places. I go, yeah, I'm by myself. I can't just go, what a beautiful location that everyone's having fun at, and I'm sitting here by myself. Yay! I can't just go down the pool and start hitting margaritas and stuff. I got to work.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, but I would imagine you saw some pretty crazy things when you were on those boats. I mean, just the one cruise I took, it was interesting watching the folks, and you're doing that.
Yeah, it's fortunate my new cruise line is not as crazy as like Carnival or some of the party cruise lines, so I don't have to deal with the crazy things as much. But when I was with Princess Holland America, I'd sail every once in a while, but still I was not involved. I was like an extra person.
Yeah.
I talked to the company and let me take the ship from L.A. because I needed to hit a whole bunch of Mexico ports. And flying into all these different Mexico ports was like kind of difficult. I go, it'd be cheaper for me to let me sail with the ship. I go, we're hitting, Puerto Vallarta, we're hitting Ensenada, we're hitting all these places. I can just knock them all out. So the ship would literally come in. I would get off, go do my thing, and walk back on the ship. I'd interact with on-board security a little bit because I was hanging out with the security officers and stuff, but I was just some random dude from corporate. Oh, you're from corporate? Huh? I go, yeah. They're like, oh, they got scared of me. I go,
stay away from me.
I'm not here for you. I'm like, oh my God, man.
You say the corporate word though.
Oh, they do. I know. Sometimes I'd use it hey, I'm from corporate. So can you charge this coffee to something else?
Yeah, exactly. You got to take advantage of it when you can.
Yeah. I saw some cool places. I saw some why are we coming here? This is I'm going to get kidnapped. And now we have a ship coming in. But I would try to arrange it so sometimes a port would promise us all these things. We're going to have 100 guards and dogs. And then the ship would get there one guy showed up. And so I would arrange to be in a port when the ship was coming in.
Okay.
So I'd get there super early in the morning and see him come in. And I had those moments man, this is cool. I have a cool job. But it took me a couple of years to being retired to really calm down enough to enjoy it. Because I was angry all the time. I was what is it? Fun. I think I was in Amsterdam. And then I was there for 3 days because a ship was coming in, and our company security officer at the time was ex-FBI. And so I'm sitting in the hotel lobby and man, I was just grumpy about something. I just had a moment what am I complaining about? I go, I got the coolest job ever. Most SEALs would be oh, that's so cool. People I talk about, man, that's a cool job. And why am I complaining about this? Then my boss calls and he's like, hey, Ryan. I go, hey, boss, what's up? He's like, I need you to meet me at the port tomorrow at 10 o'clock. I go, Amsterdam? He's like, yes. I go, are you here? He's like, yes. I go, oh, well, he was kind of like a spook anyway, so he would just appear.
Yeah.
And you're oh, what are we doing? He's like, I go, are we fighting people? Or what are we doing, boss? I go, he's like, no, Dutch Special Forces wants to come on and they want to walk around we're going to take them around the ship. I go, oh, hey, cool.
Something kind of cool to do.
It was actually really cool. So I met this team of basically their version of SEAL Team 6. Because so we go down a rabbit hole of so if the ship ever got taken over by terrorists, who's coming? I asked that question. I go, who's coming? Because usually it's oh, the dev group guys are coming. Well, not really.
Oh.
So we started talking like, well, it depends on where the ship is, what flag state it is, where it is in the world. So like SEAL Team 6 isn't going to fly from the East Coast to the Med when, or to like somewhere in Europe, because the Brits can do it, Dutch can do it. Like there's special forces out there that can do these things.
Well, and none of these ships are really flagged in the U.S., right?
No, there's one, and it's in Hawaii.
Yeah, so that's not going to send our people over.
Yeah, so we got these Dutch guys on board, and they're in civilian clothes walking around, and super cool. And we're talking like, yeah. So they introduced me as an ex-SEAL. So immediately they're like, oh, hey, what's up? So we could all talk the same lingo.
Gave you some credibility.
Yeah,
right
exactly. Usually if I'm dealing with cops, I'm like, yeah, you know, I used to be a cop. And they're like, oh, hey, what's up? So
yeah,
I would throw around what I needed to kind of to build rapport.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I would walk they gave me the idea later that bring other militaries and stuff on board.
Yeah.
Because between Princess Hal and Seabourn, we had 38 ships, all different. And so I was looking at it from, the tactical side. I'm like, well, how do we take these things? Because that's part of our job, was to board ships and take them take them back from terrorists.
Sure.
So, but you start looking at it like, wow, that thing's really big. Like our average ship is 4,000 people and 1,000 crew members. And so I'd walk the guys around like, okay, here's all the pertinent areas. This is where this is. This is like our main elevators for the guests. This is where the bridge is at. This is where, and then they go, okay, so you see that first part, right? Yeah. Then we'd open a door and go, this is the crew area. And so it's almost like two ships intermingled if you don't know how to get around. Because the crew we have our own passageways. We have our own elevators. We have our own stairwells. And there's vital parts of the ship you need to be able to get to and know where those are and know how to get there. But so, I'd walk them all around. I go, here's the second half. And they're like, oh, that's a lot. I go, yeah.
A lot of hiding places for
Yes.
bad guys if they really wanted to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And then how do you get on? I'll go, you guys want a fast rope on? Okay. So I take them up to the upper decks. I go, where do you want to get on at? Because we have lawn chairs, we have lights, we have things that are obstruction. We have this nice small little patch above the bridge wing that you can maybe get on. Like, oh, you want to come from the water line? Okay, well, here's our lowest hook point. So I take them, walk them around all the areas that they can approach from. And they're like, okay, yeah, it's going to be hard. So when people I have to teach the new hires right now of security awareness.
Yeah.
And it's like 4-hour class. And one part's like, okay, who's worried about pirates? And like they all raise their hands. I go, here's why you shouldn't have to worry about pirates. And so I walk down like, so how many people do you think we have on board? And they're like, 4,000. Yes. How many crew? 5,000. So we have 5,000 total people. How many people do you think you need with guns to control 5,000 people? 100? Okay, let's go with 100. How are you going to get 100 people with guns on board the ship while it's moving? And they all kind of like, helicopter? Yeah, maybe. And I go,
It's a lot of helicopters.
Yeah, even from the water line up, I go, so what's the lowest port in the ship? And they're like, deck 4, deck 5. I go, how high is that from the water line? I go, next time you're on shore, stand on the port and then on the pier, then look up to where deck 4 is at. That's like 50, 60 feet. And they're like, I go, you want to climb on a ladder from a moving boat at night? And they're like, no. I go, exactly.
And neither do they.
So I'm not really. So a bunch of Somalis with a homemade grappling hook and flip-flops and AK-47 are not taking over our ship. I go, they'll take over one little piece of it. I go, that's it. So,
and they have defense stuff on board if they need it?
It depends what cruise line and where they're at.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
So I work for Disney now. And so what I tell them is like, I show them a map where there's a dot where it shows every incident for piracy in the world. I go, see where all these dots are? And I go, yeah. I go, well, here's a good thing about being here. I go, we don't go to any of those.
You're good.
With Princess and Hal and Seabourn, I used to go to all these small places.
Oh.
I'm like, I was like, oh, like the Red Sea, we'd have ships go through there all the time. That's straight up piracy areas, like the Gulf of Aden.
Oh, yeah.
Between Somalia and, we'd have ships go through there like twice a year. I'm like,
I don't want to go there.
Yeah, well, it's a transit. Ships would go from Asia and they would come up to go for, they have to get to the Med for the Med training season. They would go through there. So twice a year, we'd have to get ships prepped for that, for piracy.
And what would you do? Do you prep them?
There's a thing called the Recommended Transit Corridor. This is like several years ago. It's because of everything going on with Yemen now, it's changed. But there's a corridor right in the middle where different warships patrol, and these convoys go through there. So they have to, they would escort. And we have to register what ships we're going through with this. Basically, it's like a fusion center. Yeah. It's out of Dubai. And they go, "Do you want to be part of a convoy?" We're like, "Nope." So average cruise ships can go 20 plus knots. So they would just go, all right. They would, rig up fire hoses and basically turn off all the lights and just go as fast as they could through that area.
Oh.
Yeah, because if you're going 20-something knots, it was like 20-something miles an hour, and you're in a small boat to try to catch up to that boat to try to board it, it makes it very difficult. So plus there's nothing on board they can. I asked the new crew members, I go, "What do you think we have on board that's so valuable for a pirate?" And they're like, "People." I'm like, "Oh, come on." Our children. No, like they want to sell things, right?
Right.
I go, "We don't have art. We don't have," I go, "How much money do you think we have on board?" I go, "It's cashless on board, right? The guests. Like, we don't have a casino. I go, we're not taking like $1 bazillion in gold bullion like on the Titanic and stuff. Like we don't have anything on board worth for them to take. That's why cruise ships typically don't get hit.
Yeah,
it's nothing for them to take.
Too much work with not nearly enough return.
Yeah, if you try to get that many people to, I suppose you could do it to ransom everybody, but they make it a hard target as much as possible. Yeah. Like, don't hit us, hit this slow-moving cargo ship that's behind us that's going 8 knots. Why don't you hit on that with 10 crew members on board?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so.
And like you said, corralling 4,000 or 5,000 people, pretty damn hard.
Yeah, so I end up trying to contact as many law enforcement and militaries as I could to, like on the West Coast, we talked about it, like, so say we just have an active stabber. 2 guys get knives from the kitchen, they run around and start stabbing people. And they're off the coast in the Pacific somewhere. The SEAL teams from the East Coast can't fly out in time. It can take them 24 hours, 18 maybe. I go, and the West Coast SEALs can't do it. They're not geared up for it. It's not like they're sitting around with beepers to get guns and stuff. I go, so at the time, the MSRT teams, which is the Coast Guard's version of a SEAL team, we called them and go, I asked everybody, like, no, it's the FBI. So I called the FBI. I go, no, we're not going to do it. It's not HRT. They don't have the people because it takes a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
They have to be on call. They have to respond immediately. And so I went down the line of who would it be? So finally we called the guys in San Diego and we're like, hey, I'm so-and-so with the Princess Cruises. I go, Fleet Security, I go, this may be a weird question, but say we have an active shooter on board. Is it you guys that show up? And they're like, hold on. Let me call you back. And they called back like a few hours later, like, we had to call up all the way up to our sector leaders to ask them out. And they said, apparently we are. I go, great. I go, you ever been on a cruise ship? They're like, nope. I go, perfect. I go, here's a list of ships and dates that will be in San Diego. I go, I will bring you guys on board. I'll give you lunch at the end, and you can walk around. We'll make it a thought exercise for you guys. How about that? They go, sounds good. So I met some of their guys. So I'm down there in San Diego, and one of our bigger ships pulled in. And it was the Royal Princess, one of the newer. It's 44,000 plus passengers. It's a big ship.
Yeah. And
so I'm standing on the pier, and I'm like, well, make sure I know that these guys. Yep, 4 white government vans show up. And I go, yeah, that's it. And all these young dudes jump out. I'm like, yeah, this is them.
That's them.
And so I go, okay, guys, so-and-so. I go, here you go. And they all do the same thing. They all look up at it and go, oh, that's really big. I go, yeah. I go, so I did the same thing. I walk them around. I go, where you can hook from? I go, here's all your hook points. And they're like, yeah, we can do it. It's going to be kind of difficult, but we can do it. I go, cool. So I'd walk them around and go, and so I'd ask the lieutenant, I go, so what's your priority? Like, if you had to come on board, what would you do? They're like, yeah, we have to secure certain areas. And I go, okay, here's how you do that. I go, you're going to have to run up 16 decks.
Ooh.
to get there. Like, you don't want to do the guest areas. Here's the backstage areas, or the crew areas. So we were trying to set up. This is before COVID, so we want to try to do a big exercise with these guys. Say to do like a real boarding and to try to come on board and run around and do like a real world exercise with them. So we're trying to. The thing about cruise ships is they're never out of service very long. And the only time that they're empty I can't have them on board with all their gear,
right,
with guests on board with guns, and it'd freak everyone out, right? And so I said the only time that ships are ever out of service is coming out of dry dock. I go, and so I got a list of all the dry dock ships. I go, here's the ones the closest ones. There's one in the Bahamas. I go, can you guys get to the Bahamas? Because if you didn't know, like Bahamas to Florida is not that far.
Right. Yeah, it's close.
Right. And so I go, there's a dry dock in Bahamas. A ship is going to be out of there. So between this hour and this hour, it's going to be empty of guests. I go, we could probably get you guys on board. We'll run around all night. We'll do some stuff. So we floated that idea to them. They're like, that sounds great. Our CEO is now super stoked with that. Now that we have a new responsibility, they want to train to it. Because not all cruise ships are the same. Like, we had 6 different class ships just with Princess and Hal. And then other cruise lines are all totally different. But they have basic layouts, right? And so they're like, hey, right, like we're planning this thing, and then they call like, hey, the East Coast teams want to get in on it now. And so we're gonna have this huge exercise with the 2 MSS teams from both coasts. Some FBI were getting involved in Miami, and me and my buddy, who's ex-Coast Guard, were like, this is gonna be so dope. We're gonna run around, we do some cool stuff. And then COVID happened. And we're like, oh, and it all just evaporated. We're like, this sucks.
What opportunity missed, though.
I know.
That would have been a great time during COVID to do the trainings. All these dry dock ships.
Well, the ships weren't in dry dock by then. Like, then right at the when COVID happened, they knew we were shutting us down.
Yeah.
We sent, because at the time, like, I was still going to the office, and at some point they're like, no, you guys just work from home. And so every day I'd sit in my makeshift office, and I was tracking where all the ships were.
Oh.
And it's 38 ships. We had it all over the world. And at the time, like, we were having problems repatriating our crew members. So we have a lot of Indonesians, Filipinos, Indians and stuff. And we're like, we couldn't fly them home. And so they said, we consolidated, like, all right, these 3-4 ships, we're going to put all the crew members on these ships, and we're going to send them all home. And we basically floated them all home. And so I would track it every day. Like, they were like in a 3-ship formation. Just I was watching it. And after we put them all in storage, like, we had some laid up off California, some were laid up off of Florida. Like, that's just us, like all the cruise lines.
Yeah.
It was crazy. And then we had some in Malaysia, and with just like 100 guys on board just to keep the engines running, basically.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, well, we're going to let you guys go. We'll bring you back as soon as we can. And 2 years, I was like, I was in contact with them, like, hey, when cruising's open back up, like, you can bring me back. Because, like, I told them, like, hey, all your ports, all the ports that we had security awareness for, I go, they're all going to be expired. I go, plus all the ports you go into, like, there's no telling what their infrastructure is. Yeah, they've let people go too. I go, it can be in a shambles, but like, yeah, we'll bring you back. We'll send you all out there, blah, blah. And then I just started applying for things. And so one night I was just drinking whiskey, sitting in my chair, and one for Disney popped up for on board. I'm like, I applied for it. I was like 2 whiskeys in. And then about 2 weeks later, I get an email like, we would like to interview you for this thing. I was like, oh, this got real all of a sudden.
Hey, babe, I got some
I
news.
did. I told him, but I go, hey, babe. So I applied for a Disney job. She's like, okay. I go, I just got an email for an interview. She's like, oh. I go, but it's on board. I go, so I'm going to be gone a lot. She's like, yeah. I go, do it, see what happens. By then, my youngest was in high school, so it's not like I had the littles anymore. Yeah. So being gone wasn't, 10 weeks is really not that bad, come to find out. And so, I got, went through a bunch of interviews. The second interview was with the company security officer, who was actually a Master Chief SEAL when I was at SEAL Team 1. But he was like an old guy, and I was like a brand spanking new guy. And so during our interview, I go, "Sir, I think we were at SEAL Team 1 together." He's like, "Really? I don't remember you." I go, "Yeah, you wouldn't. I was a 21-year-old new guy."
Yeah, you're kind of a big guy there.
Yeah,
you know?
you're like a Master Chief.
Yeah,
And so, then I was on board my first ship by February.
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Like I said, so you've had some pretty cool careers. I know you look at them as just a job, but other people on the outside looking in going, that's some pretty cool stuff.
Well, people ask me, like, well, how do I get your job? I go, well, first, you got to be a SEAL. Then you got to be a cop. Then you got to work for another cruise line.
Yeah.
Then you can apply to Disney.
Yes. Well, very good. Well, we've been at it for about an hour and 15, hour and 20. What would you like to close up on?
Oh, I don't know.
No? It sounds like you've got some pretty fun stuff happening. When do you go back out again?
I got about 5 more weeks. So usually about 8 weeks in, my wife's like, when are you going home? Or when are you going back? And then about 8 weeks into my contract, she's like, when are you coming home? I go, so.
Well, that's...
No.
And
We're
10
hiring,
on,
so
off.
if
there
you want
you
a
go.
law enforcement background, let's go to the Disney website.
Or if any wives want their husbands to be gone for 10 weeks at a time,
that's the thing is sea life. Some people they can't handle it. And it's just, I get it. It's just a different lifestyle.
I can see some wives out there applying their husbands.
Yeah, right now, like,
going, hey,
you need to go do this.
yeah, Bob needs to go do this.
Well, and it's like they go, they ask, oh, wow. When I tell them about the job, like, well, what's your hours? I go, yeah, I work 12, 14 hours a day. Like, do you need like weekends off? I go, no. I go, you don't get time off? I go, yeah, I get 10 weeks off.
Yeah.
They don't bother me. They don't call me. Like, one time I was like, I haven't heard from anybody. I'm going to just assume when I show up that the ship is floating there. And if it's not, I guess they'll figure it out. Yep, ship's there. Here we go.
21 years gone. It's been a while, though. That's when you think about that, you've been out of there for 21 years. But when you do look at that, the transitions, that is hard for folks when they're. I've seen some people struggle going transition out of military, out of law enforcement. You said you were angry a lot. How did you cope with that? What was we hear alcohol a lot, folks, but
to be honest, getting out of the SEALs. Well, I didn't see combat, but just our training and our lifestyle alone really, I didn't realize it did put a stressor on me.
Sure.
And so getting out, a lot of it's like identity based. So my adult life, that's all I knew was being a SEAL.
Yeah.
And how cool that was. And everyone's like, I think coming out of that was like what my thought process is. Like, I could do anything. Navy SEAL, dude. And then I got out and I didn't have the identity anymore. I was just regular dude.
You're just Ryan.
Yeah. And I got like, who am I? So, and then the stressors of like trying to find a job and trying to do things. And like, yeah, I drank quite a bit, not realizing that, I didn't have a problem. I'm just drinking half a bottle of vodka at night.
I thought you were supposed to write a book and start a podcast if you're a retired Navy SEAL. That seems to be a thing. But so you seem to have balanced that. So, I mean, what are there certain recommendations you would tell folks to do? Just
try not to have your identity tied up into one thing, because even as a police officer, like my identity was still tied into that getting out. And when you get that like pull you away from it, you're like guys that were my friends now weren't talking to me in both things, like as a SEAL and as a cop. It's like once you get pulled out of that little group, that you're not one of us anymore.
the door shuts.
Yeah, the door, it doesn't shut, it slams behind you. And then even today I'm like only friends with like a few people. But then again, it's like those are the good friends you have anyway. And so, and I get it. Like when you have nothing in common with these people anymore. And so it's just hard to pull yourself out of that identity. And so, I actually talk to counselors a lot and actually we have to work through that stuff. And then finding other things to kind of focus on. Like, so I really, the big reason I got out was because of my family. So I just focused on my family. I was my kids' coaches. I did as much stuff as I could with them. And I think when they got older, I was really bitter about things for a long time. Because the war kept on going, and then a bunch of my friends started dying.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I started getting a bit of survivor guilt.
Yeah.
Like, I got out, I was a quitter. Worst thing you do is call a SEAL a quitter. Like, oh, it's fighting words. And I felt, and even though no one was
You're calling yourself
doing,
the
I was
quitter,
doing
though.
it's myself. I'm like, and it's like, I had actually a really good friend die in Extortion 17. That was like one of the biggest SEAL losses of the war.
Is that the helicopter that went down?
Yeah, I got shot down. That was
Yeah.
going to save Marcus Luttrell.
Yep.
I had a real good friend die on that. I didn't realize that until 2 years later.
Yeah.
And I was like, so that really messed with me for a long time. And I think, to be honest, like even like a few years ago, I finally like calmed down with everything. Like, what am I so anxious about? What am I so trying to prove things? Like, it helps that I landed in a really cool spot.
Well, yeah, that doesn't hurt.
That doesn't hurt at all. And
support group at home by the sounds of it.
yeah, my wife, I mean, she's not afraid to call me out on my BS. And she's just like, you got to stop just being a marshmallow on the couch. She's like, that's not sexy. That's not, that is not hitting, it's not doing anything for me. And you're not.
I'll call you a quitter until you're not sexy. It's going to change.
Yeah, it's like,
everything,
well, I better get in the gym, and so, yeah, my wife was never afraid to call me out, and so I'm like, oh, you're right, I got to quit feeling sorry for myself, and then in the kids too. Like, I think one time I realized I was talking to my oldest, and I was like, we really opened up about something, and I'm like, yeah, because he was getting ready to get out, and he was confused about, like, I've wasted all my time. Like, he's getting out of the Coast Guard, and he's like, he felt like I wasted my time doing this stuff and for nothing. And I go, and it triggered things in me that I hadn't thought about in a long time. And I'm like, I realized, I go, yeah, I put up with all that guilt that I put on myself, but I did it to be with my kids. Mm-hmm. And I go, and I realized I was sitting, and I go, we bought we've been in a house. My wife pulled us out of financial ruin, so we had our own house, and we had a pool, and I'm sitting on my pool with my kids and realizing, I go, what am I feeling sorry for myself about? Like, oh my God, get over it, dude. Like,
Yeah, so self-pity doesn't go very
no,
far.
I did not. Like, a lot of self-reflection really came in handy. So, and therapy, you know, and not be wrapped into what you're doing. So it's really hard though, because that's your whole identity.
Well, and I've heard
what else are you going to do?
A lot of folks talk about making friends outside of law enforcement, making friends outside of the SEAL teams, or out of the Navy. That's hard, but that's how they balanced it out. It seemed like, and that way, when it ended, it didn't necessarily end.
Yeah, and finding things to do outside of that. But so far, like, you want to go shooting? People go, hey, you want to go diving? I go, nope. No, because like, well, you must have got a lot of dives. Must have been really fun. I go, no, I'm in freezing cold water at night diving under a ship. No, that's not fun, man.
Wore that out.
Yeah. Right. You want to go skydiving? Nope. I'm good. I got 270 skydives, and no, they're not fun. Like, my back hurts.
Yeah.
I don't want to jump out of an airplane anymore.
Yeah,
that and like, I don't do exciting things anymore, because like, I almost got in a fight one time, and like my drilling, my body's like, you haven't done this in a long time, and my body like just sent a adrenaline surge through me. I was like, got done. I'm like, okay, I need to walk this off. Give me a minute. My wife's like, I called her because it happened on the ship, and I go, yeah, so I had to fight with a crew member. She's like, are you okay? I go, yeah. She's like, take some Motrin. I go, no, I'm all right. She's like, yeah, you're all right now, but give it an hour. You're going to be sore. I'm like, no, I'm okay. Nope. Hour later, I'm like, man, my knees hurt.
It's amazing how that works, isn't it?
Oh, my God.
Motrin's our best friend over 50.
Oh, my God. I had people for that. I go grab him.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's the advantage of that. Well, very good. Like I said, I appreciate you coming. I know when we originally talked, you're like, I don't know what we're going to talk about. Well, you talk about an hour, 25 minutes.
I got that old man gift of gab now, too. Like, I do it. My wife's like, you're perfect for your job. You can just talk to the passengers. And
oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just chit-chat with everybody.
But people love hearing it. I mean, like I said, you've done some cool stuff, and people need to see what's happening out there. I think that's very cool.
Yeah, I'm at the point where I can share these things now, and so I realize that people want to hear what I have to say.
They
like,
do.
like my guys I work with on the ship, they're like, it took them like a couple weeks. Like someone goes, "Were you a Navy SEAL?" I go, "Yeah." Who told you that? Like, well, so and so. Like, why don't you tell us that? I go, I can't lead with that. Hi, I'm Ryan. I used to be a Navy SEAL. I go, do you know how horrible that sounds?
Sounds a little arrogant.
It does. It's like, it sounds so douchey.
Like, just worship me
Like,
over there.
some random crew member asked me one time, she's like, are you the security officer? I go, yeah. She's like, were you the Navy SEAL? I go, what? Who told you that? I go, stop telling people that. Like, what's so cool? I go, dude, I've done other things since then.
It's been a lot of years now.
Yeah.
But it does show the appreciation, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I like reflecting on it. And when I see, SEAL stuff, my feeds and people I hear about, and I'm like, yeah, that was pretty cool. Like, I watched the Discovery thing because I had some of those guys in my class, that 236 or 234, whatever. I watched that now. I'm like, oh, how did I even go through that? That looks horrible.
A lot younger and a lot,
No, a lot dumber, that's for sure. My body recover easier. So.
Yeah, well, that tends to happen. That's well, very cool. Like I said, I appreciate you coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me do this.